you might have something to do with helping me and my mom out.
What? What up? Story mother freaking time. So some time ago, I was a nurse. I was working in the emergency department, and I had this patient come in who fell off of a rolly chair and broke her arm. This patient was a little older, not old, but older. Okay, and when I went in the room to assess her and figure out what was going on, I said, what's up? What happened? Why'd you do that? Why'd you stand on top of a rolly chair? What were you trying to reach? Do you live alone? You couldn't ask somebody else to reach it for you? You couldn't just knock it down with the broom? So she said,
I have really rowdy upstairs neighbors, and I always hear them knocking about.
At the time, I understood that better than anyone. I had just moved out, I had got my own place, but my upstairs neighbors decided that they wanted to vacuum at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Who does that? I'll tell you who. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you who later. Let's bring it back. So I said, well, if you could just tell me what that has to do with you standing up on a rolly chair, I'd love to see if I can help you, And so she said,
I was trying to stand on the rolly chair with my broom to bang on the ceiling so that they can hear that I am disturbed, that I'm bothered.
And I was like, okay, but why the rolly chair? Anyways, I said maybe, next time try a little bit more of a modern approach. I know that you're older. You didn't necessarily feel comfortable going up there and knocking on the door, dealing with a bunch of hoodlums, a bunch of young people. You don't know what you're getting into. I get it. So I said, do you have any family? And just as I said that, her daughter walks in. We can call the daughter Cassandra. And the patient, we can call her Kim. We'll call her Kim. So the patient is Kim. The patient's daughter is Cassandra. So I said, hi, Cassandra. I was just talking to your mom, trying to figure out what was going on. She broke her arm. She says,
yes, I know. How did that even happen? What were you getting yourself into?
The two of them start talking, and I'm just putting in the information that Kim gave me into the computer to go talk to the PA. So I get all the info in. I start an IV because what they're about to do to try to stabilize this break, it's going to cause pain. I'm sure she's in pain. They're going to want us to give IV pain meds. They're going to want to do an x-ray. They're probably going to manipulate the arm. It's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to induce pain. Start the IV. So then Cassandra comes over to me as I'm finishing up settling the IV. She says,
is it possible for you and I to just chit-chat real quick outside?
I said, yeah, sure. So situated the IV. I asked her to give me a minute. I went to go talk to the PA, give the PA a heads up, right? I step out with the daughter, Cassandra. And Cassandra says,
can you explain to me exactly what my mother told you?
Sure. Here's the thing. Let's just pause real quick. Anytime a family member steps out of the room and says, can you tell me what they told you before I tell you what I got to tell you? That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. Never has it been a good sign. Never will it ever be a good sign. So I just knew that I walked into a sticky situation, a dramatic situation, and I didn't want anything to do with it already. All right, let's press play. Back to the matter at hand. So I told her what her mother said. I said, Kim said that she ended up on the rolly chair. Not really sure why she specifically chose the rolly chair. So that she can get high enough to knock on the ceiling with her broom, okay, and let the people above her know that she's disturbed and that she's angry. Cassandra, Kim's daughter, said,
did she mention anything about the people knocking back? or saying anything back or doing anything.
No, she didn't. She really didn't mention it at all. I just asked her how she got that arm. How did we end up in this predicament? And she told me, and that's what she told me.
Okay, because I feel like we might need a psych eval, a psychological evaluation.
Okay. Here's the thing. This is what's gonna happen first. The PA is gonna go in there. And if the PA feels like the communication between him and the patient is a little foggy, memories a little distant, there's a few things that the two of them communicate about that give him the impression that perhaps, you know, a mental decline is in play. I don't know that a psychiatric eval would be the next step.
No, that's not it.
I'm thinking dementia. I'm thinking maybe, you know, she's getting older, she might be dealing with some decline. And then I'm like, wait a minute, she's old, but she ain't that old. Well, no, because, and then she hesitates and she looks around. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm not trying to deal with this right now. What you looking around for? So Cassandra's like,
we've been here before.
Okay.
I had actually went upstairs to knock on the door to talk to them, to ask them to please consider that there's an elderly woman living below them.
Okay.
You know, when I got up there was a maintenance guy doing his rounds, and he said, you know, ma'am, no one lives there.
Well, then maybe the noise was the maintenance people. If you ran into maintenance when you got up there.
Well, that's what I thought. Except no one had lived in that apartment for maybe about 6 to 8 months at that time. And so they hadn't had a need to work on the apartment.
So what that mean? What does that mean? What you trying to say?
That's why I'm saying maybe we need a psychological evaluation, because I want to know where she's hearing this noise from. She's absolutely certain that someone lives above her. And anytime I'm there, I never hear any noise.
Okay, I'm beginning to see where you're coming from, Cassandra. So I spoke to the PA, I asked the PA if he felt that, you know, Kim was a little off.
No, he felt like the communication was totally fine.
Okay, because mom is asking for you, not mom, the daughter, Cassandra, is asking for you to put in a psychological evaluation. You know, put in the order for someone to come evaluate her.
I don't think that that's necessary. Based on my assessment, I don't think that that's necessary. I can go talk to the daughter.
Knock yourself out. He comes back, he's like,
I'm about to put a psych eval in. Psych is gonna come down and assess the patient.
Psych comes down, assesses the patient, Psych comes out, talks to me, talks to the PA, says,
I don't really sense any sort of mental decline. I don't sense that she is picking up on any auditory or visual hallucinations. She said, I feel like what she's hearing is what she's hearing. I don't think that it's unreal. I think that she's dealing with a completely different situation that's out of my scope of practice.
what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that information? But wait, it gets better. So I go back in there and I said to Cassandra, not in front of Kim, obviously, hey, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, all of our healthcare professionals are not necessarily feeling like she needs to be further evaluated. So she touches my arm and says,
Ashley, I don't know why I told you this. I've told absolutely no one this. This has been going on for a while, but for some reason I felt inclined to tell you. I I don't know why, but I just feel like you might have something to do with helping me and my mom out.
What? What am I supposed to do? So I said, have you considered maybe telling her to move?
My mom is very stubborn, and at this point, I don't even think that I'm completely dealing with 100% my mom. I think something else is going on, and I feel like the psych evaluation was just me checking that off and finally saying, okay, that's not it. She's not crazy. It's something else.
Listen, the most I can offer you is information that, a close friend of mine told me, and she's very well aware of situations like this. And I told her. She expressed her gratitude. She told her mom, we're gonna go home, we're gonna try a few things, after they patched up the arm and everything, obviously. She did not end up having to have surgery. When I say patched up the arm, she got a splint and then had to make an orthopedic follow-up appointment to get it casted. So let's fast forward a few months. I completely forgot about Cassandra and Kim. Y'all, why was I at the grocery store? Ran into Cassandra, who was without Kim.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you. It worked. And I knew there was a reason why I had to tell you what was going on.
And I remembered my grandmother saying, we just need to give it time, and we're gonna figure out whether or not this all ended up working out in their favor. We just need to give it time. Trust in divine timing. All right, that is the end of the story. So, I really appreciate you guys' feedback. I really appreciate you guys expressing to me, the kinds of stories that you wanted to hear. I'm trying to involve my grandmother in more of these stories, and I'm going to start adding on to those other stories that I posted to my channel a long time ago. I know that you guys are requesting updates and new episodes on my original stories. I am writing an episodic story on Kindle Vella. The link is in my caption, and I'm gonna post a little summary video explaining what's going on so far. If you guys wanna hear more, like if you'd like for me to tell the story more than I actually write it, I'll do both. But if you want me to actually start telling the story, let me know. Just keep giving me your feedback. Check out my literary works, my books, and my music. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys give my editor, Blake Quake, a shout out. Go follow him, go subscribe to his page. And thanks. Thank you for joining.